Hello. All right, welcome back, guys, to my channel. So we continue with a review of this code for this book, which is Data Analysis Python and PySpark, which I highly recommend. Actually, what we want to do today is that we want to run the entire code all in one sweep. But you discover that before now we have looked at this part and we have also looked at this part. Now today we briefly look at this part, the width column, then we run everything all together. So we're still using what we were using before, which is the same Jupyter notebook. So now this is where we are. Now for us to be able to demonstrate the width column, I need to explain the F, which is the PySpark SQL function. So this is what the F, this is the alias. So the PySpark SQL function and why we need that. Now, if you want to check our logs, so let's check our logs briefly again. So if we just check our logs and say logs.show, you see here that we have all the columns here in our logs. Okay, now but if we want to select let's say we just want to select two of these columns, there are various ways we could do that. So we could just come in here and say select, and we put in the columns in a list of string. So put this one rapid run, I'll put a comma, and then the same thing for this as well. So we have that in a list, and we can easily just run select and show that. Okay, that will only select those two columns. Okay, so we have the two columns selected. Now, but it's not possible for us to just use the name of the columns when we're using the width column, as we will see. So in the width column, we can't just put this column name here. Okay, it's not going to work. So because it is tied to what? It is tied to the data frame. So we're still coming back here, but let's just try it. So let's say you just want to do this. This is going to give us an error. Okay, all right. So I put it back the way it was. Coming back to that. So now because of that, we can use the F, the SQL function, PySpark SQL function. So another way of demonstrating this is we could say just column f dot column, and we call the function call to specify the attribute. So similarly here we can call the function call to call the attribute, and if you run this, so this is going to give us the same thing. All right, now we can also go on and we can put this in a list. So we can put it in a list, and that also works. But the recommended way is when it is in a list, we actually make sure that we unpack the list by putting an asterisk before. That works. Now in the select, whether we unpack or not, it doesn't give us any problem. But if we try that with the drop, which is which we have looked before, if we do not unpack and we try to drop, that is going to give us a problem. So we say drop, and then I'm going to show for this. We drop that, and this is going to give us a problem because we need to unpack that. So the recommended way is to make sure that we unpack that, and this is what works. So we do that and put show there. You see that the log service and log dates are gone. Okay, so that's where we need to get used to using the asterisk command. Now, so that demonstrates the PySpark SQL function uh, with this. Now, so once you know this, so we now go into actually the with column. So what we want to do here is we are creating a new data frame just by selecting a subset of the column. So we just use these two and we're assigning it here. So we come in here and we run this, so we have the two columns. Now I want to create additional column on this. So something simple we can do is just to extract the year part of this. And so we call it the log date year, and we're using the substring function just to extract the year because that's the first four characters. And if we do that, we're reassigning back into the data frame. So if we do that and we check our Spark DF again, we'll see that we now have the new column which is locked it here. So that's the functionality we want to demonstrate on how to actually use the with column. It's important to note that the column that we specify here should actually be in this particular data frame. But one thing we could want to experiment with is it possible just to add additional column by saying maybe you just put a constant number here. I don't know if that is possible. Let's try it and see if that works. So that really didn't work. So you may go should be a column or an in. So that didn't work. That may be something to find out how to actually just create additional column with just default values or true. Okay, so now we're done with that. We can just we can show the okay, we can now chain everything up together and we can run it all through. So the drop which I demonstrated the with column. So here we are having this in a bracket because we are having an expression that forms that particular one. So in this scenario we just have only a single expression, so we didn't have to put it in bracket. Now this we are doing some additional computation on this, so we put everything wrap that in a column and it's okay. And so let's now run that. So we're creating and put logs back there, and we can then show that in this. So the duration in second, which is a new column, is actually by default added to the end of the new data frame. All right, I hope this will help someone out there to get a better understanding of the PySpark with column and the packing and the unpacking functionality in select and drop. Thank you and see you in the next one.